Okay, welcome to this tutorial on the map function for Arduino. The map function can be used for lots of different things. Often it's used to take a input that might be larger in range than what you want your output to be. So maybe you're getting an input between 0 and 1024, and you would like your output to be between 0 and 255, which would be something that would be quite common. In our case, though, I'd like to talk about the map function for taking one range and converting it to a different range. So in the challenge that we'll be doing, we might be getting a range from 0 to 5, and we want to convert that to something like 7 to 13. So the way the map function works is you can include it right in any other function, and it'll just be replaced. So in this case, all of this would be replaced with one single number in the digital array. So this would become something from whatever we've set the output to be. Within the map function, we start with an input, and that's the number that's coming in. We also tell the Arduino the range of the input, so maybe the input might be from 0 to 10. So this would be 0, and this would be 10. And then we're going to tell the Arduino how big we want the output range to be. So where we want it to start and finish. So in this case, we might say the output, we want it to be from 10 to 20. Or maybe our input's from 0 to 10, and we want our output to be from 0 to 100. So all we would do is we tell it what the input is. So in this case, I've set up a variable up here, and I've called it light. So we would say light. Where does light start? 0. Where does light end? Maybe 10. Where do we want light or the output to begin? Maybe 0. And where do we want the output to end? Maybe 49. To make this a little bit clearer, I'm just going to move over to a table that should illustrate how the distribution happens. Okay, so here's a hypothetical map function. We have our variable, or our input, we've called light. It starts at 0. It goes to 9. And we'd like it to map from 0 to 45. So from 0 here to 45 here. So you can see that if we input light and we call it 5, we come along here, 5, the map function will output 25. If we change our input to 6, the map function will output 30. So in the place of this in the Arduino code, the Arduino would just see 30. Another case that you might want to do is map from 0 to 9, 0 to 9, to 5 to 14, 5 to 14. In this case, if you input a 0, the map function will output a 5. If you inputted a 6, the map function would output an 11. Finally, you can use a map function to inverse things as well. So maybe we want to go from 0 to 9, input from 0 to 9, but we want to output from 9 to 0. In that case, if you input a 0, the map function will output a 9. If you input a 7, the map function will output a 2. You can also use the map function in the opposite way, where you're mapping a larger value onto a smaller value. In this case, our input light occupies a range from 0 to 49, and we would like to map it onto a range from 0 to 9. In this case, if light was anything between 0 and 4 as an input, it would be output as a 0. If light was anything from a 5 to 9, it would be output as a 1. So if we set light to a 5, we come along here, and we see 5 is 5 to 9, so we would get a 1. If it was 26, you'd come over here, or the Arduino would do this, obviously, and 26 falls between 25 and 29, so the map function would output a 5. Okay, let's take a look at this code in use. I've set up an int, I've called it light, I've set it to 2 for now. Here, this code right here, is just setting all of the pins to outputs. We've all seen that before. And down here, I have a digital array with a map inside it that will be replaced with whatever the output of the map is. And I'm telling it to write that high. So light 2. So this is a 2. We're saying it starts at 0 and goes to 5. And it's going to distribute whatever light is from 8 to 13. So this is 6 digits here, and this is 6 digits here, so we can expect a 1-to-1 mapping. If our input is 2, 0, 1, 2 That's 3. So 8, 9, 10. We would expect pin 10 to light up. Let's see. And lo and behold, pin number 10 does light up. If we change this to a 5, then we would expect pin number 13 to light up. And lo and behold, pin number 13 does light up. Just to illustrate how it might work other ways, we could also flip this around. So now we're getting the first pin to light up because we've switched these two numbers. We could also make this from 0 to -5. And then we could use negative numbers. And it would map our negative numbers on. So that's the basics of the map function. It's pretty simple, but really powerful and comes up a lot in coding. And you will need to use it to solve challenge number 1.